Champagne Nightmares, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, I don't know how you found me, but stick around and hit that subscribe button. My name is Janessa, and I'm North Dakota's Trash Queen of Glam, Geek, and Gore, and we didn't even do a cold open this time because I am so excited. I love collabs. I've done some collabs in the beauty space, but today we are doing the first ever horror collab on my channel, and it's a two-parter, so you're actually going to see another video coming soon. Soonish. I am super excited. I have a friend. We are on location in Stanchfield, Minnesota at Grandpa's Pool House, and one of my absolute favorite people. We've posed together, we've done some modeling, some fun things at photo shoots. She models, I just sort of beach myself into the photo, but we have a good time. So if you want to meet her and see what we're going to talk about, then stick around because we're getting into it right now. Yes, so this is my fabulous friend, Hex. You may have seen her in some of my photo shoots. We're very excited to have her here today. I'll let her tell us a little bit about what you're up to, what you've been doing.
I mean, we're here. We're having the best time.
Oh, we love the pool house.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being on my channel. I'm very excited. And I'm excited because we are always talking about horror. We chat on Instagram about horror all the time. And so we are going to be doing my top 5 best horror of the last 5 years. I've made a list, and then Hex is going to react to my choices. She's going to pass judgment on the type of horror that I love. And then she's going to let me know if there's anything from the last 5 years that she thinks is missing from the list, any other recommendations of the best horror of the last 5 years. So, are you ready?
I can't wait for us to be judgy bitches. Yes!
I am a Capricorn. I can judge all day long. I am super excited. So let's get started with number 5. Alright, number 5. This is a little bit maybe controversial at the gig because it's new. And sometimes things, if they're new and shiny, then they get on lists and maybe they don't deserve to be there. But I'm going to say Longlegs. I think Longlegs because I feel like we haven't had a good Silence of the Lambs serial killer kind of horror show for a long time. Nothing that's really good quality, really fantastic. And I love that there was like a weird supernatural element added to it. And so it's very like Silence of the Lambs. That one's fairly newer, so I don't want to give a lot of spoilers, but there is kind of this supernatural, creepy, ghosty, culty kind of vibe going on as well. So what did you think of Longlegs?
Well, you let me on a little secret that you don't like Nicolas Cage. Is that right?
I don't like Nicolas Cage, but I didn't mind him in this one. That's how good it was.
I mean, it's the same week that Longlegs and Maxine dropped. I do feel like there's a big divide on this movie. I liked it. I think the marketing was definitely misleading. But if you're into, like, the very thriller vibes, like, you say if you like Silence of the Lambs, Seven, Mindhunter. That you would probably enjoy this.
Love it. Yeah. I watched the trailer and I had no idea what movie I was going to see. I just heard people say that it was super creepy and they were really like, it gave them the ick. They were creeped out by it. And then I was like, I'm done. Let's go.
He definitely gave, I mean, as always, a performance.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage, ever since Con Air and like, I gotta get back to my hummingbird. I can't. But I like Longlegs. I think it deserves to be in the top 5.
Yeah, I can see people agreeing.
Alright, so let's move on to number 4. So number 4, I'm cheating.
Okay, that's fine.
Because it's actually 3 movies. I'm gonna put X, Pearl, Maxine all together. Because they all came out within the last 5 years. And I feel like I liked all of them, and X might have made it into my top 5 list by itself. X is my favorite of the 3. Maxine is my least favorite, but Maxine is the newest. But I feel like as a trilogy, as a trio, I really like them together.
Yeah. A lot of people prefer X as their top.
Yeah.
I gotta say Pearl is my number 1.
Yeah, X is my favorite, but Pearl is really close. Mm-hmm. And then there's a bigger divide before Maxine. I think I liked Maxine more because I watched X and Pearl the night before I went to go see. So you can see how the way that they filmed it and the way that they cut together shots, it kind of continues through Maxine, like the half shot where they'll have one thing happening on one side and one thing happening on the other. They do kind of a split screen. Mm-hmm. And the way that continues from X to Pearl to Maxine, and the way that it develops, because they do it kind of differently in each one. Mm-hmm. So I think I like Maxine more because I had just watched those other 2. And so it was kind of like watching a long mini-series rather than just watching 3 movies. But
yeah. As for Maxine, I mean, again, the aesthetics were on point. Mia Goth can do no wrong.
She's good.
I just feel like the storyline didn't deliver on what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
But, again, that's subjective.
I thought we were getting... Because there was such a, each movie, the first 2 movies had such a feel. And they visually, tried to really reference different movies. So X really kind of referenced Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the Texas farmhouse. Pearl with the scarecrow and the color saturation that they did was very Wizard of Oz. I thought we were going to get classic 80s slasher with Maxine, and that's what I live for. That's my favorite kind of horror. So I thought we were going to get a ton of that, and we didn't. It was very 80s, the whole thing felt very 80s. The styling was beautiful, and it was so, in that decade, but it didn't feel like a specific movie that they were referencing the way the other 2 did.
Did you know that me and Brooklyn did a Pearl shoot and we made a full scarecrow? Did you ever see that?
I feel like I did see that. I'll try to find pictures and I'll put one on screen if we have it. Yeah, you guys do some fantastic. A little breakaway, if you have not seen the work of Brooklyn Ewing, that's what we're doing here in Stanchfield. There's going to be new galleries coming to janessaj.com, so definitely click the link in the description. And the beautiful Hex shows up in a couple of my photos as well. And we're having a good time here, so that's why we're here talking about horror. Yeah, and she does lots of fun horror shoots and characters, and Hex here has done Elvira, and looked absolutely fabulous. And her beautiful wig today, Darlene, is a former wig of mine, and never looked anywhere near as good on me as it does on her.
No,
so.
They had to be twins.
Yes, big hair. Big hair, don't care. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 3. Number 3.
Okay.
I felt this one to my soul because I have done many years of retail. I've done a couple years of food service. So my number 3 is the menu.
Yes.
That's sort of the way that the service industry just grinds you down until you want to murder a bunch of entitled assholes. I always laugh at that meme that says there should be the purge, but for retail workers.
Yeah.
Where they have a day where they can just say whatever they want, because I felt that. So the menu, I loved it, and I love Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she's so elegant and beautiful, and she transforms into whatever role she's doing. I love her. Oh, so good. What did you think of the menu?
I loved it. I mean, again, Anya Taylor-Joy, Mia Goth, all the modern little scream queens starting to come out. I love that it was comedy. We got some gore. There was, just...
Yeah, there were those moments where the blood would flow and there would be a little something, but it was just this tension.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just sort of this something is off, what's going on here? And the way that they built it and built it and built it. And that ending when she takes the bite of the cheeseburger.
Spoiler alert.
And watches the fire. Oh, I love it. Yeah, spoiler. We've kind of avoided spoilers. People know on my channel that unless it's brand new, you come here to learn what the fuck happened. So
it was very reminiscent to me of Ready or Not at the end.
Yeah.
Where she smokes the cigarette and she takes the bite of the burger. I feel like they kind of...
Yeah. That sort of triumph moment and just and watching it sort of just disintegrate around her.
That's my favorite kind of...
I love it.
Ending.
Yeah. So good.
And I didn't realize the villain in that is the guy, Ralph Fiennes, I think is his name.
Oh, Ralph Fiennes, yeah.
Yes, he plays Voldemort. Did you ever realize that? Yeah.
What is that? Like, young Harry Potter has come to die. I haven't seen the last 2 Harry Potter movies. But that's, I don't know how to feel about that. So J.K. Rowling is such a terrible person, but I'm going to have to finish them because I've seen all the other ones. So I'll find somebody who owns it so she doesn't get any money. Leave me alone, keyboard warriors. I just am a completionist, so I'll have to finish it sometime. But yeah, he's creepy. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
It took me I was like, who is that?
And I love that Judith Light is in there, and I love that they just can't, that was the best part when all the people are, pleading for their life or whatever, and then they're like, you've been here 12 times, name one thing I've served you. And she's like, the cod, and then it wasn't even cod, and they're like, does it matter? And they're like, it mattered to the cod, or whatever.
Someone like that in real life,
Yeah.
Yeah. They really depicted people that you meet in your daily...
Yeah, all the different kind of rich entitled people that you see, and you get to see revenge on all of them. I love it.
I put that in my top of, what year was that? 2019? I got it. Oh, that was 2022.
I love it.
Me too.
Such a good one. All right, are you ready for number 2?
Top 2.
Top 2. In the number 2 spot, I absolutely loved the extension. It's not really a remake, it's not really a reboot of Candyman.
Yes.
I loved it. I thought that they did such an interesting original story, and I thought that what they did to expand the sort of lore, because there are some problems with Candyman. People have talked about the fact that there's a point where Candyman is very interesting and very intellectually challenging, but the fact that this ghost, who is an epitome of, racist violence in America, is terrorizing black people in a housing project. And, in the documentary Horror Noir, they talk about how that's where you can start to see that it was made by a white person. It becomes this very stereotypical trope about black men lusting after white women, and they turn it to say that these spirits, there's more than one, and they pop up in different places, and they're about places and experiences of racial violence. And so it becomes this sort of continuing story that all of these tropes are tied up to the history of white supremacy and racism in America. So I love that they took what was problematic about the first and expanded it so that it could make more sense. I loved it. I am such a geek, so I love to really dig in and dissect. I loved it.
I think it was very, during that time period too, when it came out, it was very, what's the word I'm looking for?
I just want to say woke, because I want to take that word back from people. Because I think that's really what being woke is. It's about being aware of social justice. I know that there's a whole history of the word within the black community that's very different than how it's used now, but all the people who try to use that as a bad word. Yeah. And I'm like, it just means you're awake and you're aware. Otherwise you're asleep and you're in a dream world that's not real. So I love it. It's more aware. It's more socially conscious.
I think they did it justice, because very rarely can you say an original and a remake or continuation is just as good. And to have Tony Todd back, I mean, you can't not.
Yeah, I love that he got to have his moment, and I love that they kind of tied it in. And I do think the way that it expands the lore, it makes the original better. The original was already excellent. I mean, it's such a classic, it's so good. Mm-hmm. But to be able to expand it in that way is really fantastic.
I really recommend people to check that one out.
Yeah. If you liked Get Out, and if you liked Us, the first 2 Jordan Peele movies, I think you would like it. I like it along with Black Christmas 2019, which is very divisive.
Yes.
I didn't include it on this list because I have talked about it a lot, and so I was tempted, but I left it off this list. But I know it's very divisive, but I think that it is very socially aware in the same way that a lot of those films are. Mm-hmm. If you like those kind of films, I think you'll like Candyman. Hey. All right, should we do number 1?
Let me guess. Is it Halloween Kills?
Oh, let's get into number 1 right now. All right, so number 1, before I tell you what it is, what do you think my number 1 is?
Well, I know you love Halloween Kills and In so much.
I hate them so much. If you have not already watched it, I'm going to go ahead and link one of them up here. Probably the Halloween Kills, because that one's the worst. But Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, I was not a fan. There's videos on my channel. I'll link them below as well. So my number 1 is something that I don't normally like, because I don't like jump scares. Things that just really rely, like The Conjuring, that whole series, and The Nun, where it's just something far away and then it moves at you really fast, or things come out of nowhere just and scream at you. I don't like that. That feels cheap to me. Like, there's ways to do jump scares that aren't just like immediately in your face and like so aggressive with no purpose. This one is kind of like that, but again, I just love the underlying theme and the story behind it so much, because it is all about...
I have an idea.
Oh, what do you think it is?
Smile?
Absolutely, it is Smile! That movie is all about, if you don't deal with your trauma and process your trauma and get help, it will destroy you. And I absolutely love that movie. It is my favorite of the last 5 years. It's hard for me to watch because of the jump scares, but the way they do it, and that ending, perfection. Perfection.
How do you feel about the new one coming out?
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to recreate that. I feel like, for me, the underpinning story about trauma is so important that I'm like, how do you do that a second time?
Yeah.
With a pop star.
Yeah, the trailer looked very The Idol, which I kind of dig that vibe. It had some like American Horror Story vibes to it, which I used to love that series too, but it's gone downhill.
Yeah.
We can only hope.
I'm hoping... The one thing I was thinking is, because before it was, if you don't process your trauma, it'll destroy you. So now I'm wondering if they're going to try to make some comment about how, if you're not careful, fame and attention and social media can cause you to self-destruct. Because really that's what the first Smile is about, is yes, there's this creature and there's all this stuff, but it's really about self-destruction. It's really about, all of the deaths are, there's a suicide that happens. And of course it's caused by this creature that takes you over and whatever. But that's kind of, if you take away the creature, it's all about if you don't deal with your trauma and what's, your inner kind of issue and that real kind of base problem, it destroys you and it leads them to those suicides. So I'm wondering if it'll be about how celebrity and social media, people lose themselves and it can cause them to self-destruct. Maybe there's something there, because I just don't know how you get lightning to strike twice on that kind of story. Right.
I will add that I think they had the best marketing
movie
in a very long time.
Yes. That, with people just showing up at events and like doing the creepy smile. Oh, yeah, that was so good. And have you seen the short film that it was based on?
I don't think so.
Laura Doesn't Sleep, I think it's called. No. I'll try to find the video and I'll link that down in the description box as well. But yeah, it's a short. And I think it's called Laura Doesn't Sleep or Laura Doesn't Sleep Anymore. And it really kind of is just this quick little 10-minute mini movie with the same kind of thing. But basically, this woman is talking to her therapist. And things slowly, it gets darker and darker. And then he kind of has the smile that comes on, and he's kind of the threat. And even in that, they really kind of were building up this idea of, because she was kind of being evasive and not really wanting to talk to him about what was wrong and avoiding it, so they had built some of that in. And sometimes with things where they take a really good short and turn it into a movie, sometimes they don't do such a good job, but this one I felt like they did a really good job of taking that core creepy short and turning it into a full movie.
Especially coming out during the same time as Barbarian. I feel like both alone have they're both very well received.
Yeah, there's so much good horror the last 5 years. What are some things you think that I might have missed? What are some favorites on your list?
Let's see. Well, Barbarian, I will add. we stayed at a kind of barbarian type Airbnb once ourselves that, yeah.
I recently did a video all about cannibal families and rape revenge films, which we'll link right up here for you so you can check it out. And that's one of the films that I love how some of these genres that seem to be dying out, they're finding new ways to do them, and Barbarian is a great way to kind of recreate that The Hills Have Eyes energy in a slightly different context and bringing in some of the new culture of like Airbnb and that kind of stuff. I thought that was really cool.
And if you put Skarsgård in anything, I'll watch it.
Yes.
But speaking of like things that really can happen, you mentioned home invasion movies aren't really your jam.
No, they freak me out.
Yeah.
It's a little too real for me.
Going off like the Airbnb and stuff, Spree, like the Uber, the more modern. Did you ever watch that?
I haven't seen that. No,
really?
Tell me about that.
It has one of the boys from Stranger Things in it.
Oh, okay.
And he's kind of like a Uber driver, and it goes awry. Yeah, it's a fun little one.
Spree, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, Spree. I really liked The Hunt. It was kind of Hunger
Games
style.
I like that. A good rewatch for an election year.
Last Night in Soho.
Yes.
That wasn't really. That was more just artsy, the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Again.
That's
Taylor-Joy.
Number 6, easily for me.
Really?
If I hadn't included X, Pearl, and Maxine as a trilogy together, Last Night in Soho would be on this list. And it's the last film appearance of Diana Rigg. I love her. Lady Olenna from Game of Thrones. She's the old lady. Love her. Yes, that is another fantastic one. And Anya Taylor-Joy, so good.
Yes. The Sadness. Did you ever watch that?
What is The Sadness?
It's a foreign film. Zombies. It can be very traumatic to watch if that's your vibe.
It has to be the right zombie movie for me, but it sounds
Yeah.
like that could be maybe a little interesting twist on it.
Yeah, I'll let you know later about it.
Yeah.
Malignant. Were you a fan?
It was okay. It was a fun watch, but it's something that I'm like, I don't have to see that again.
No.
Like, I enjoyed it while I was watching it, but that doesn't have the rewatch for me.
Yeah, it wasn't for me either. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of if it's for you, it's for you.
Yeah.
Black Phone. Loved that.
Loved Black Phone. Loved Black Phone.
Would that be on your list as well?
That's another one that's... If we were doing top 10, that would probably be on the list. But since it was just top 5.
The Fear Street series was fun. Did you like it?
Spoiler alert.
Some of them I liked.
Tune into part 2 to hear more about the Fear Street series. I'll save my comments for the next video.
Okay, talk to me.
Talk to me. That one was okay. I kind of liked it. I felt like I watched it obviously after I watched Smile, and so I felt like in some ways it felt like kind of a derivative of Smile.
Yeah.
But I like that again. It's still kind of this like smarter, interesting story kind of horror.
Skinamarink. What did you think?
That just gave me anxiety. That one did not. That one didn't feel like horror to me. It made me want to crawl out of my skin.
I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate the art. I think there is something...
There's a very clear aesthetic, certainly.
It isn't for me.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, it was cringy for me. Like, it just gave me the ick.
But Late Night with the Devil, that had a theatrical release. I loved that.
I loved it, and I loved that it was so true to that time period. And I'm so annoyed, and we're not going to get into AI.
Yes,
we're not going to get into that debate here. I will just say that nobody lost a job because they used AI to make 2 pictures, because they had a visual arts department. So if they hadn't made it using AI, they would have had to make it some other way. So it's not like somebody lost a job because they made 2 still visuals that they included. I mean, the debate around AI just has to get more complex because people are so divided, and and they're so fiercely dug in that nobody's even having a conversation. They're just yelling about it, and I'm tired of it. And I have unfriended people for just getting in way too much, and I'm like, you know what? I understand and I can sympathize, but nobody lost a job for those 2 fucking pictures.
That's the tea.
Yeah. Alright, so that is my top 5 best horror films of the last 5 years, as well as some thoughts and reactions from the fabulous Hex. We will have her Instagram and links all linked down below, so definitely go check her out. Follow her, show her some love, and thank you so much for being on my channel.
Thank you. This was so fun.
And we are going to have a part 2. So we're going to do my top 5 disappointments of the last 5 years, and then Hex is going to give us some recommendations of her favorites from this year specifically, as well as some upcoming films that she's very excited for. And so we'll be doing that very soon. Coming soon. I never like to commit to anything. I'll just say soon. So yeah, so leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of this countdown. Let us know your thoughts if you have other things that you think should be on this list. You know, like I said, there were some great ones that you mentioned that if we were doing a top 10, absolutely would have been there. Yeah, and we will go ahead and do that. So leave us your comments to let us know. While you're down there, don't forget to give us that thumbs up to let us know that we have great taste in horror. And if you think we have terrible taste, go ahead and give us that thumbs down, because you know what? It's all engagement. The algorithm. Let us know. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither are we.
See you soon.
And if you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, then all of my social media and Hex's social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website, The World of Champagne, at JanessaJ.com. Thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate all of you, and I love and appreciate you for coming on my channel.
I love you.
Oh. And until I see you again, bye.
Okay.
I actually did a pretty good job, I think. The center looks like it might actually be in the center.
It does. Good job. Good.
Okay. Hello, champagne. Okay. I don't have a cold open for this one.
Hello, champagne dreamer.
I love horror that's very. I'm a neat.